Okay, so ShoeOnHead has uploaded a video on the male loneliness epidemic. So I've seen this channel in a few memes, but I haven't really been following this YouTube channel. She's been a popular figure in internet culture, but I really have no idea who this person is. So I'm gonna watch this video and give my thoughts on it.
I regret to inform you, the men are not okay. That's right, folks, the men are not okay. The men have no friends, no girlfriend, no college education, no money, are breaking their legs and inserting metal rods into their bones to be.
Now, I don't think that's entirely true. To say most men don't have friends, a lot of males have their friends mostly online. A lot of people interact with people online more than the real world. So instead of saying no friends, they should say no real life friends, which really is what it is. People are more invested in the online world. People are following YouTube channels. People are following Instagram pages. People are following Twitter pages, and they interact with those more than they do with real life people. People have way more investment in the internet than they do in real life.
A few inches taller, and listening to AI Batman help them overcome their pornography addictions.
You deserve real love.
Turns out the society that was built by and allegedly for men has indeed let them down. Now you might be thinking, oh look, another boo-hoo poor men video by ShoeOnHead. Yes, and if you have a problem with that, tune into literally anything else. Men are in a crisis, and it seems nobody really cares. And the people who do care just seem like the people who want to sell them shit. Not me. I'm different. So before we get into this, let's quickly get into today's sponsor.
Okay, let me skip ahead. Boom.
Do about it.
A few new studies have come out that have shown that young men are more lonely and single than ever before. But it's not just men. The women in—
This is all a result of capitalism, but this lady won't say that. This is all a result of late stage capitalism. Our grandparents used to be able to afford a whole house with one job and feed a family of like 5, 6, 7, 8 by working as a janitor. Now you need to like work 5 jobs to feed like 3 kids, and you might, if you're lucky, you might be able to get a house if you're in the top 5% of men. If your daddy was rich, if your daddy was a millionaire, and you have a bunch of generational wealth, you might be able to afford a house. Your parents might be nice enough to give you a bunch of money so you can go to college without debt and buy a house and get an apartment. You might be able to get, but if you're not like a daddy's boy, and you don't have rich parents, and you don't have rich grandparents, and you're not in the top of the pyramid, if you're not within the elite levels of society, you won't be getting any of that. You're going to be working 5 jobs just to afford a house. Who do you know that can afford? If you're not making $20 an hour, you're basically a slave at this point. If you're a man, women don't really respect men that can't afford their own home. If you're renting, you're not really a man because you're submitting to your landlord. At the end of the day, you're not a man if you're renting. You're living under somebody else's roof. You're no different than somebody living at their parents' house. If you're renting, you don't own any land, you don't own any title, you own nothing. So, and if you miss 1 month's payment, you get evicted and you end up homeless. Congratulations.
and children too. It's predicted 45% of women will be single and childless by 2030. But according to the media, this is a good thing. The sheconomy is booming, as they say. And meanwhile, men being single is treated like this.
New study explains why some single men are having a hard time finding a new partner.
some of the music that they listen to speaks very derogatory.
Right.
Yeah, man, stop listening to that derogatory music. Then maybe you won't be single. I don't know, I think men and women being single and lonely kind of shows there might be something wrong with society. Perhaps we should address this, not just wave it off as empowering or pathetic. According to several different articles...
Again, capitalism. This all stems from capitalism. Men aren't able to afford the time to go out and meet new people. When you're working 80 hours a week and you have like a tight window of time to do things, some people even work throughout the weekend and they don't really have time to like go out and meet new people. And at that, they're already dealing with anxiety, other problems within their life. They're not going to be in the position to really make friends. So people in their 20s and sometimes 30s, they're having a real problem just putting themselves out there because they're so bogged down with this exploitative system.
I love how that's my source. I read about it on the internet. Research shows that people from individualist countries show a greater sense of loneliness. This is linked to socioeconomic development, increased education, a shift towards white-collar jobs, and urbanization. Japan also has an issue with loneliness. In fact, they have a whole movement of people they call the hikikomori. Did I say that right? I don't care.
So if you don't know what hikikomori is, then it's basically men that basically like 50 years old living in their parents' house. They never worked a job in their life. They don't interact with anybody. They don't even interact with their parents. And they just live under their parents' roof their entire life, and they end up dying alone, never reproducing, never interacting with the society. And if it's really bad, once their parents die, they end up literally dying of starvation inside their parents' home because they are too afraid to literally leave their house. It's like their own mental prison. Now, I'm not saying it's always like this. I'm not saying there's not some hikikomori that escape. Japan is finally trying to fix this mass countrywide issue. They're adding training programs. They're adding support groups for these people where other hikikomori can talk to hikikomoris so they can interact with each other and share their experiences. But you know, it's still a huge problem. We have all of these men that are basically cast out from society, and there's a pattern I've noticed with hikikomori. They usually end up failing early in life. Let's say they didn't get into their desired college, and they just didn't know what they were going to do in their life. In their 20s, they didn't land that good job, so they just see themselves as a failure. And then for the rest of their life, they just see themselves as a failure. And there's a huge shame aspect. They're too ashamed to leave their house. They're too ashamed to meet new people. They're too ashamed to try to find another job because they just see themselves as a loser. So why would me as a loser try to get a better position in life? I'm a loser. And it's really a problem with society making superficial points in everybody's life. Oh, go to the best college, get the best job, drive the best car, get the biggest house, and it leads people to not valuing themselves as an individual.
Basically, postmodern hermits. Mostly young men who completely withdraw from society, secluding themselves in their rooms for months and years at a time. In 2010, there was an estimated 700,000 hikikomori in Japan. And today, it's estimated to be about 1.55 million.
Now, the pandemic only made everyone a hikikomori. During the pandemic, we were forbidden from leaving our house. We were forbidden from interacting with society, the greater society, our communities, etc., throwing social gatherings. And what this did was make everybody a hikikomori, making everybody more anxious, more anxiety prone, giving people more mental health problems, making people more invested in the internet, in social media. There's people who have basically destroyed their mind by going on sites like Twitter, Instagram, just watching everybody live their best life, just watching these rich, famous people just party on yachts while they're just sitting at home. They're social distancing. They're being good citizens while the rich just party, have lavish parties. They don't care about anything. They're partying in a big house. They got jet skis, they got yachts, they got fast cars. They're just flaunting their wealth, while the rest of us we're just worried about bills. When's our next stimulus check, man? I can't find a job because all the like half the family owned businesses are shut down. It's only corporations that are left, and they don't pay me enough. And we have all these social political problems that just keep manifesting and exacerbating themselves during the pandemic. And does it get better? No, it's only gotten worse. It's only gotten out in the open. Like you can see it. It's taking over our conscious mind. It used to be subconscious where you didn't really have to pay attention. Oh, just pay your bills, just work. Then maybe during the weekend you might have some time. But now it's literally gotten so bad where people are just going insane, going literally insane. People don't even know what reality is anymore. People don't know what right is and what wrong is anymore. People are how do I say this? Following these grifters that don't care about them and only want to make money. There's millions of online grifters. Oh, if you do what I did, then maybe you can get rich and you can do this. Oh, if you follow my ideology, you can be awakened. No, you find that from yourself. You don't find that from somebody who is literally on a computer screen. And I'm not even telling my followers to freaking listen to everything I say. I'm just a person. I'm a human being. I want people to come into my videos with open mind every video. I don't want people to just freaking believe whatever I say. Hey, that's all. I believe in critical thinking, freedom of speech. I believe in doing what you believe is right. I don't believe in violence. I don't believe in any sort of judgment of other people based on their political. All I believe in is facts. That's what I believe in. I want to get down to the reality. And people are just ignoring reality. Have you guys noticed that? People are just ignoring what's right in front of them. Yes, this is a mental health crisis, but why? It's because of inequality.
And because of things like this, people aren't having babies, so Japan's population has been in a sharp decline since 2011. It's gotten so bad that Japan even produces videos of live-action women staring into the camera to help the hikikomori learn to cope with.
This is pathetic. And a large part of this also has to do with testosterone rates. Testosterone rates have declined by 50%. I repeat, 50% in like 30 years. So most likely if you are a man, you're not even half the man your grandparents were. And it doesn't matter what food you eat, it's literally in the tap water. When somebody takes birth control pills and they take a piss, that birth control pill goes into the water as pee, and it goes into the water supply, and then you drink that same water supply and take in a bunch of estrogen. The water plants don't filter any of that stuff out. No. You end up drinking it, and guess what? That ends up destroying your testosterone levels. And not even to mention the food you're eating. The food you're eating is literally poison with a bunch of toxic chemicals. And we're wondering why men are having such mental health problems. It's because of this. It's because of all of the drugs, all of the chemicals, all of the toxins that are in our tap water and our food.
With eye contact and reintegrate them back into society. So basically, if you want to know America's future, look no further than Japan. A lot of people, including myself, blame this partially on the rise of social media and technology. RIP to the king. Although technology makes things easier, it can also make us more atomized. Why go to the mall when I can just tap, 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 buy a new microphone, and have it shipped to me in a day? Why hang out with friends when I can get all my social interaction I need from Twitter and streamers?
Now, let's be real. Online social interaction is not the same as face-to-face, eye-to-eye social interaction. If you get all your social needs from the internet, you're freaking lying. Face-to-face interaction actually builds, because like it or not, you need real life social interaction. You need to interact with other people, whether you're going to the grocery store or you're asking for directions. You need that kind of stuff. What if you need a roommate? What if you move in with a roommate and you have to interact with that roommate? What if you have a lot of things you need? Okay, you just can't just stay in your room all the time. You need to get outside for your own sake. You need sunlight. In order to get sunlight, you need to go outside. You need to connect to the world around you. Even not even necessarily just taking a walk in a city. You can take a walk in nature and connect to the planet you are currently living in. And when you're inside, you're looking at artificial walls, you're looking at artificial structures, and that's really not good for your mental health. When you're at work, you're surrounded by cubicles, white walls, boring surroundings to depress you. And when you're in nature, when you're in sunlight, it just makes you feel good.
Why go on dates and bother meeting women when I could just tap, 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 Google big boob and get 2 million results? Or see my high school crush's holes on OnlyFans for only $5. Instant dopamine, instant satisfaction.
Now, OnlyFans is the most pathetic thing ever invented. If you are a man that literally pays women not to have sex, but to just see their picture, you're done. You just sold out your integrity, because now you're saying, oh man, I'll pay just to look at you. No, that's so pathetic.
And hey, who even needs a real woman when you could just have an AI girlfriend? We're so fucked.
Yeah, we're done. Imagine what's going to happen when AI gets more advanced, when you won't be able to tell the difference between reality and the internet. Imagine how bad it's going to be. Like, the real world would just collapse. We'll be living in like some sort of matrix. Who cares if the world's falling apart around me? Who cares if the rivers are polluted? Who cares if all the animals on earth are going extinct? Who cares if there's chemicals in the air? I'ma just plug myself up into the matrix, bro. I'ma just plug myself into the matrix and interact with these AI friends and AI girlfriends and raise my AI family. And this is really the setup, because you won't realize you're being poisoned. You won't realize the world you're living in is a falsehood. You'll just be connected and you'll be happy. This is what they mean by you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. They literally mean you'll be connected into the matrix. You won't care about you being in a freaking pod. You'll literally live in a pod. Some people already live in a pod. If you've seen, I think it was in Taiwan or Hong Kong, they were living in literally like apartments, quote unquote apartments, that were the size of a bed. They paid like $300 a month to rent out a bed, and they literally just live in their bed. It was so heartbreaking. and you'll just accept it, because why would you care if you can just go on the internet and you can live your life there? So in a way, we're already in the matrix. No need for friends, no need for family. Just go on the internet, bro. Just scroll mindlessly on YouTube. Who cares? Scroll mindlessly on the internet. Live your life there. In a perfect world, if I were president, the first thing I'd do is make one day out of the week where we completely turn off the internet, where there's no internet, unless it's like for infrastructure or something like that. But for the rest of the people, no internet. Just completely cut it off. No social media. Not the internet as a whole, but no social media. No Twitter, no Facebook, no Instagram. Just turn it off for an entire day. No Snapchat. Just turn it off for an entire day. Have people live their real life. Bring people a reality check. That's what I do. That's one step into fixing this socially exploitative world that we live in.
Dating apps really are the great Satan, and I'm convinced they've completely broken men's brains. Women on dating apps are picky. Women in general.
Now, dating apps are, how can I say it? It's extremely shallow. I'm not gonna say it's the worst thing ever. Yeah, it's bad, but it's not the reason why most men can't get in a relationship. Shallow dating apps, which base you basically all off your appearance, superficiality. Nobody can know about you without context. Like when you approach a woman at a party, there's some context there. There's context. Hey, this is a nice party. We're having a good time. What do you say? What are you doing? Who are you with? There's context there. With social media, there's zero context. Zero. None. Zero. It's just 4 pictures, 1 bio. You say a few words, but there's millions of other men on that social media. So she has so many options she really doesn't need. But if you're the only semi-attractive guy at a venue or event, then she's going to be like, heck yeah, I'm gonna choose this guy. And I'm single, I'm going with this guy. But social media just makes the options way too broad. It's terrible. It makes attractive looking men. If you're living in a small town where you're pretty much like the only guy there, the rest of the guys are all old, ugly, fat, and you're like a 5 out of 10, you will have options. But when you hop on Tinder, you become like a 1 out of 10 in comparison, because there's celebrities on there, there's like supermodels, Instagram influencers, all these other type of guys that are allegedly like posting pictures in front of fast cars, but they could be broke, they could be behind on their bills. I've seen it, men flexing, and they really are losers. They could choose those guys because there's no context. They don't know. So yeah, so online dating is a scam. And then they make you pay to be placed on top of the listings. They make you, oh, you want to see your matches? Just pay $20 a month and you can see who liked you. Like, come on, man. Who would do that? Do you think I'm stupid? Do you think I'm gonna stoop to that low of a level to pay to see who? No, I refuse to pay just to look at who might be attracted to me. So yeah. So if you guys, I'm gonna stop the video right there. But if you guys like the video, like, comment, subscribe. I might watch the rest of this. I might do a part 2. Give this video 10 likes and I might do a part 2. So yeah, yeah, a very interesting video.